Garrett, I am so excited to be using the new Fit as part of my physical training program. I know many of my warriors are very curious about electrical stimulation of muscles because I talked a lot about that in my book, The Wallace Protocol. And so could you give us a quick overview of E Stim and how new Fit fits into the electrical stimulation of muscles?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm glad that you're getting to experience it and see some of those differences, because ultimately it's something that many times, even though we can talk about it and people understand conceptually, to really experience it is oftentimes more meaningful. So I'll do my best to explain it here for sure. And electrical stimulation as a broad category has been around for many, many years. And there's been some established benefits to electrical stimulation. It's been shown to increase circulation, shown to help muscles contract, and it's sometimes with TENS units and different things able to help modulate or manage pain. And so there's some well-established ways in which electrical stimulation is used, and there's also some limitations. And with traditional electrical stimulation, a lot of times these days, for instance, insurance reimbursements are going down because people are recognizing that you can't do as much with the traditional devices. And so one of the limiting factors with traditional devices is that most of them are alternating current. As the signal goes back and forth, it actually causes muscles to co-contract and fight against each other. And one of the issues with that is that when you turn it up to a high enough level to really make a difference, you can end up training the body to get stiffer and almost in a spasm-like state. And so the differences in our device compared to traditional devices are a lot of times are seen when you turn it up to those higher levels of current, like you're doing in your sessions at home, where even though it feels intense, there's a lot of energy being delivered because of the shape of the waveform and the unique effects that it has on the body. It's able to preferentially relax or help lengthen muscle tissue so that you can move through it. So what you're really doing is minimizing those contractions that happen, so you can get a lot of sensory input with less of that stimulus to stiffen and more to lengthen, so you can actually activate your muscles through their whole range of motion. And that allows us to do some things on the neuromuscular reeducation side that you can't usually do with traditional devices. So we're able to see people increase range of motion, help actually increase strength as well, and movement quality.
Okay, so let me recap, sure I've got it correct, Garrett. So we're using direct current instead of alternating current. The waveform is more physiologic. We're seeing muscles lengthen, muscle mass also increase. I am presuming that I don't know that we have this measured yet, but I would hypothesize that we're probably reducing inflammatory cytokines, increasing muscle growth factors locally, increasing nerve growth factors locally and in the brain, increasing endorphins locally and in the brain. I can tell all of my tribe who's listening to this, as I'm using this device, I can already see that there's been some increase in muscle mass, improvements in strength, some improvements in range of motion in the hip flexors. And I also perceive this cognitive benefit. I discovered early on in my experience with electricity that it was uncomfortable, but I was willing to ramp things up to uncomfortable levels, because after the workout, I just had this nice cognitive effect that I enjoyed. And I know you haven't been able to measure those things biochemically, and I look forward to the day that we can do some research that would measure that.
Absolutely. So that's something that we hear fairly often, and I usually think of it along the lines of, we know it is well established that there are cognitive benefits to exercise, and a lot of those cognitive benefits have to do with, as we're moving, we're creating a lot of sensory input to the brain and upregulating activity in the brain. And this, because we're sending such a significant amount of neurological signals, we're actually able, I believe the research will show, we're able to increase that effect. So it's the same type of cognitive boost and activity increase that you see, just, I would say, amplified.
Now, again, to all of the tribe that's listening to this, another huge benefit is Garrett and his team will be at the seminar with the device. And so people will have the chance to experience the mapping and a session and see what electrical stimulation is like and see what particularly the new fit device is like. Which, by the way, is very different than the over-the-counter devices, which do have some benefit. But these prescription devices, these clinic devices, are really have so much more potency and a much greater effect. So huge benefit for coming to the seminar, getting to see Garrett and his team, and getting to experience the electrical stim directly.
Yes, it was really profound being there at this past summer's seminar and getting to share this with, maybe a few dozen people, and seeing, even in just the demonstration sessions, some very cool outcomes. And so we're excited. There will be a couple of us there in 2019, and we're really excited to share it with your tribe.
I think it's a wonderful tool. Now, if we've got followers who are watching these videos and watching my experience with it, and they decide, like, God darn, I'm really curious. I'd like to have a session evaluation. What could they do? Obviously, I want them to come to the seminar and get all the benefits of the seminar. But what else? How else can they access your device and your expertise?
Absolutely. So seminar is choice one. Choice two, or two and three, would be to either wherever you're located, at least here in the United States. We don't have anyone yet doing this internationally. In the United States, check out our website, and there's a locations tab at the top right where there's a listing of the facilities around the country that have our device and technology and have been trained by us in the new fit system. And so there's a few dozen facilities around the country so far, and we're adding more each week, each month. So hopefully there will be
Garrett,
someone.
Let's give a verbal on the website. Could you walk people through how to find you?
Yes, absolutely. So the website is www.new.fit, which is
Oh, very good.
neu.fit. So not NEW, but neu.fit, no.com, just new.fit. And then at the top right corner, if you're on a desktop, or on the menu if you're on your mobile, there should be a locations tab. You can press that. And there's several facilities around the country. Unfortunately, if there is not anyone that is accessible to you, then there's a couple options. One is reach out to your physical therapist or chiropractor or doctor, see if they might be interested in adding the technology. And then another option, we've had a few people come in to see us at our home office in Austin, Texas, which, of course, there's an investment of time and money to come and do that. But for the few people who have, it's been very cool to come in for a few days of intensive work. And then thankfully, it usually goes well. And so those people have chosen to rent a machine from us during the time we're together. We train them, and then we can support by video conference, can support them in using the device at home to continue the progress. It's just, it is very beneficial to get started in person.